Hi guys, so continuing with what we've been speaking about with your snatches. All right, again, we're just going to carry on with that little breakdown and breaking down the movement, making sure you're comfortable with all the positions and the different phases of the lift, so that when you're in your own training sessions, you can focus in on exactly what it is that you need to be working on, and you've got a much clearer idea of what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so obviously in the last video we spoke about the first pull of your snatch, so today we're going to speak about the second pull. Okay, so the second pull is just that phase of the lift between your knee and your hip. Okay, now obviously if you've had a good first pull, when you're in that position at your knee, okay, you're going to make sure that the bar's in contact with your thigh, so you're keeping your lats engaged, okay, shoulder blades together, that bar's nice and close to your body, okay. Your shins are almost vertical and your weight's going to be more towards your heel now. Okay, obviously over the course of your first pull, your weight is shifted back from the midfoot to your heel, all right, which is where you want to start your second pull. Okay, you want to feel a good amount of tension in your hamstring. You're going to have the angle of your chest, all right, it's going to be just above parallel. Okay, so you're keeping your chest up, sticking your chest out. Okay, and then like we say, keeping your lats engaged, keeping your shoulder blades engaged, but keeping your arms relaxed. Okay, that's going to help keep the bar nice and close to your body. It's going to make sure you're nice and balanced. It's going to make sure that you're nice and kind of braced through your core, so that weight's not going to pull you around. You're not going to lose tension in your lower back, glutes and hamstrings, which is really important. Okay, and you're going to have as much control over the bar as possible. Okay, once you start that second pull, so once you start to leave your knee, what you want to focus on is leading with your chest. Okay, so lifting your chest up so that naturally that bar stays in contact with your thigh. Okay, as opposed to trying to start off by bringing your hips forward and starting to throw that bar out in front of you. Okay, it's also going to mean, if you lead with your chest, it's also going to help you sit back on your heels. Okay, because as you lift your chest up, you're going to automatically keep your weight back on your heels through that whole lift, right up until the bar reaches your hip. Okay, again, what you don't want to do from that position, if you start to come onto if you start to extend through your hips too early, obviously that's going to push you forward onto your tiptoes, which is going to obviously limit how much power you can produce, because you can't engage your hamstrings and your glutes as well. You're going to be much more reliant on your quads. Okay, but it's also going to have a knock-on effect on your bar path, because you're more likely to swing that bar out in front of you, especially at heavier weights. Okay, so that combination of lifting your chest up and keeping your weight on your heels is going to make sure that you're nice and balanced, that you can produce as much power as possible, and that you stay in control of the bar. And obviously then it means you're going to have a nice straight bar path when you go into that triple extension. Okay, obviously in terms of the pace of the movement, your second pull is going to be much faster than your first pull. Right, this is when you're really creating a lot of the power. Okay, which is going to then obviously give you the time to drop underneath the bar and obviously propel the bar up into the air. Okay, so your second pull is a really important phase of the lift. All right, but equally, you don't need to rush that first part. It's more once you get to mid-thigh that you're really going to start to accelerate. Okay, so from above your knee, make sure you're in a good position. Control that first part of the movement. Focus on leading with your chest. Okay, once you get to mid-thigh, then really accelerate. Okay, speed the movement up. Okay, obviously on a snatch, you're aiming to bring the bar all the way up into your hip crease. Okay, you don't want to be bouncing off your mid-thigh or kind of pocket height like you would on a clean. You want to try and get that bar all the way to your hips. Obviously, as you're going through the movement, to make sure that you can do that, all right, it's important, like we say, that you keep your arms relaxed. You don't give it an early pull, all right, because obviously that's going to help you get the bar to your hips, but it's going to take away from the amount of power you can produce, because you've got that tension in your arms, which is why it's important that you keep your lats and shoulder blades engaged instead. And then naturally, as you lift your chest up, the bar's naturally going to find that hip level. Okay, when you do reach your hips, all right, it's important again that you think about you bringing the bar towards your hips, not your hips towards the bar. Okay, obviously the bar's going to brush your hip, all right, that's normal. But what you don't want to do is have the bar out in front of you, bring your hips forward towards the bar to try and make that contact, and end up looping the bar way out in front. Okay, so you're just going to focus on keeping your lats engaged, leading with your chest. That's going to keep the bar nice and close. It's going to bring it all the way up into your hip. You're going to have a very natural kind of brushing movement of your hip, which is going to help you get obviously a powerful extension, but also a nice straight extension where you're not kicking that bar out in front of you. Okay, so that's your second pull, guys. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, then feel free to give me a shout.